Welcome back, Astro listeners, to the Star Lady Soul Reader Network. This is Media Monk, and with this full moon in Leo, I have on the other side of the line, it's Star Lady. Star Lady, are you there?
Hello, Media Monk.
There she is. Most people remember that Star Lady is indeed Kim Marie, the managing director for our network. EAN continues to provide resources for our new associates joining the EA course. We also participate in a lot of podcasts and educational webinars that you can peruse on our website at www.evolutionaryastrology.net. You can always call us directly at 1-605-348-5111 to schedule your time with Kim Marie, Star Lady, and or to ask any questions about the EA course, the website, etc. All right, so a lot to cover today, I understand. We're going to look at this full moon from a few different angles, so I'll turn it over to you, honey.
All right, welcome everyone to our full moon of Leo podcast. The full moon will take place February 16th. We are recording it the day before February 15th. That full moon, February 16th, will take place at 11:56 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it's the full moon at Sun, 28 degrees Aquarius, and Moon, 28 degrees Leo. And to start off, what's so accentuated about this full moon is that the Sun and the Moon are squaring the nodes of the Moon, the nodal axis. The North Node is hanging out at 27 Taurus. The South Node is hanging out at 27 degrees Scorpio. And so what we have is that fixed modality extremely emphasized. I would say that the full moon, Sun and Moon, square the node is equivalent to an eclipse. You know, think solar eclipses, lunar eclipses, except Sun and Moon are not on the nodes. They are squaring them. And so it adds to the tension, no matter what sign it is. And the fixed or persevering energy of the fixed modality, Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius, also. There's a buildup of pressure while the fixed modality wants everything to be secure, wants everything to maintain status quo. What happens with the distortions of the fixed modality is they don't want to change at all. And so pressure builds and builds and builds until cardinal modality initiates or mutable modality says, I can't do this anymore. I need change. I need to adapt. And so what can happen with this fixed modality is a tendency for major eruptions. We can think volcanoes or earthquakes on a physical level. We can think one country invading another on a political level. We can think on intimate relationship, finding out about betrayals of trust and adultery, or a partner saying, I can't do this anymore, I want out. No matter, what the themes are, the fixed modality has to learn to pay attention to the intuitive hits of change. And it has to find that courage or will, think about full moon in Leo, to adapt to whatever changes are being presented to it. And so this is kind of the backdrop of energy that we are dealing with, especially on a geopolitical arena right now. Kind of have to have your head in the sand if you're not aware of the news that Russia has put all its military on the borders of Ukraine, and everybody's all up in arms with that, and it in many ways comes down to a USA and USSR tug of war. And so I've never really looked at the chart for USSR, which is pretty well established. December 30th, 1922 at approximately 8 p.m. In Moscow, all right. Putin's chart is less well established. We know the date, October 7th, 1952. We know he was born in St. Petersburg. But there's a lot of discussion about the time and basically the fact that in Russia they didn't use birth certificates or write down the time. And so many times astrologers will go with, either the sun at 12 noon right on the ascendant. I use 12 noon but 0 degrees Aries and put planets in their signs as well as natural houses. Anyway. The USS chart is being lit up all over the place. Every single outer planet is active on the USSR's natal chart. Russia has a sun opposing Pluto, sun at 8, Capricorn, Pluto at 10, Cancer. USSR has Mercury at 21 Capricorn, of course being lit up by Pluto, and it opposes the USA Mercury at 24 Cancer, which is retrograde. And of course, if you've not been paying attention, the chart I use for the USA at 9:37 a.m. July 4th, we're going to have the first of 3 Pluto returns on February 21st, next week, next Monday. And so it's just all over the place with the tension of this full moon fixed energy really lighting things up. And oh, by the way, the USSR has Moon at 27 Taurus, Venus opposition at 28 Scorpio, with the nodal axis sitting on its moon Venus, and the full moon squaring it. I won't go into a whole bunch of details, but you've got the dates if you want to go look up the charts by yourself. Before I make some general comments, I just want to point out an author that I found years ago. I don't know, stumbled across him. I like to escape into fiction because I do so much psychological work. Sometimes I just need to have that Neptunian imagination escape. And for me, it's always been reading. The author is Edward Rutherford. Edward Rutherford. Rutherford. And he is kind of like a James Michener author, although I like Edward better. He writes historical fiction based upon fact, and he will choose a geographical area and then do a long perspective of it, 2,000 years or 10,000 years. Each chapter is contained within itself, and he'll usually follow fictional families through these long time periods. I first read his book on Russia years ago. I don't even remember. And I reread it a few years ago, and it's a real interesting take. And so if you kind of want a little history on Russia that is a little more factual, including the fiction, but, separate from what we read on social media or even mainstream media, there's been a long history in Russia of the serfs and the peasants really wanting to break free. And then all of these tyrannical or elite rulers usurping those movements to let the masses break free. And so that's an underpinning in Russia's chart that, again, I'm not necessarily pro-Russia the way Putin's running it, but I just wanted to point out that little bit of history for you in case you want to check any of that out and really get a deep, broad perspective on the history of Russia. Vladimir Putin has Pluto conjunct the South Node at, 20 degrees Leo, 22 degrees Leo. You know, the moon's going to be over it next February 16th. The full moon's going to activate it. He literally has transiting Saturn in Aquarius on his North Node in Aquarius. I told Minnie Monk, I said, I might ask you for a few comments on what you think, honey. I'm going to say it for you, honey. I think Putin has control issues. Pluto conjunct the South Node in Leo. You want to see those distortions of Leo and being the drama king to just disrupt things. Is he going to invade Ukraine? Oh, gosh. I, for a while, was thinking, okay, here we go. You know, he's going to disrupt a democratic president to whatever degree he can. He, just like China, you know, they're really busting their muscles out as the U.S. is having its sole identity crisis with its Pluto returns. And once I started looking at the charts, I thought, he is on an ego trip. He is, you know, trying to flex his muscle, and he's really trying to sabotage Biden, you know, as appearing weak, sabotaging the U.S. as appearing weak. Stay tuned. Who knows what's going to happen? We'll be moving our way through it over, you know, the next few weeks, the next few months. We got these eclipses coming up in Taurus, Scorpio. There'll be North Node eclipses. And the eclipses on the North Node in Taurus will really be asking us to internalize our peace, to internalize our sense of balance and self-reliance and self-sustainability, regardless of what's going on the planet.
I got an observation, Star Lady.
Go ahead.
Well, besides his internal orientation towards, you know, being the boss, being creative, being powerful, Pluto conjunct the South Node, and now that full moon, you know, just kind of illuminating that thing. He's going to have a difficult time saving face if he does not choose to invade. You know, and I believe I see that because we got transiting Capricorn planets squaring all of his Libra, Scorpio in his chart. He's feeling the pressure of he's doing this dance. But at this point, for as much water is under the bridge in his reign of ruling Russia for 25 years, he can't afford not to. And on a mundane level, I got to tell you, the reason why it's been delayed up to this point is because, number one, the tanks have to have frozen ground to move over, and it's under the full moon. That means a lot when you start rolling tanks a couple hundred miles into a country. So, I mean, that had nothing to do with the astrology, obviously, but I'm talking about more of his inner state of agitation and saving face.
Nothing more important to that for a Pluto Leo, is it? thinking of our own Donald Trump situation going on. Oh, okay. Well, I could go for hours, and I just wanted to point out a few things and, just give people a little bit of chart data if you want to do any of your own talk and research on this. And it's interesting for me from the perspective of the United States. And again, the fact that in 2022, the USA is transiting Pluto in Capricorn go over the natal position of Pluto in Capricorn for our country's chart. Pluto representing the soul so much in evolutionary astrology. It's kind of, for me, I've been saying this is going to be a wild ride this year. And who are we as a collective group of people? We'll see how it unfolds, and we don't know which direction it's going to go. I've been very hopeful of Pluto moving into Aquarius and the masses rising up, but we don't know whether it's going to be a conservative or a liberal mass that rises up, and we don't know if both of them will continue to create an intensity of battles. Stay tuned. In the broadest perspective of things, from just the sake of survival on a changing climate, we must learn how to return to more natural principles, giving, sharing, including. But we don't know how long it will take us through Pluto and Aquarius to get there. And the last few degrees of Pluto and Capricorn are flaring up their extremes of patriarchal distortions and autocratic energy. I was a little hopeful that Biden's actually been speaking up and saying, these long-term effects of inflation are because we have no antitrust enforcement in these countries. If you want another person to follow, Robert Reich, R-E-I-C-H, easy to follow on Facebook. He's been really speaking out about these corporate monopolies getting away with raising prices no matter what area of material goods you look at, and no one is stopping them when they're having absolutely unbelievable record profits taking place. As I said in the last podcast, in this country alone, the USA, again, 4.5% of the world's population, about 25% of the world's resource usage. In our country alone, the upper 10% of income consume as much material goods as the bottom 40%. The upper 10% of income consume as much material goods as the bottom 40%. And so we have those Uranus and Taurus that are out there saying, how much stuff do you need? Oh, this full moon might be bringing a bit of that out for us. The sun's going to move into Pisces February 18th on its annual passage. And the evolutionary astrology mantra for sun in Pisces, I am in wholeness with my reality. I am in wholeness, Pisces, with my reality, Virgo. This may be some of the energy that you really want to intend for yourself. I'm okay, no matter what. Right before that full moon, just hours before it, Venus direct in Capricorn will make the second of 3 conjunctions to Mars. February 16th again. They will have a conjunction at 17 degrees Capricorn. The third one will follow in just 2 weeks, March 6th, 0 degrees Aquarius. As Leroy said earlier, Venus and Mars in Capricorn are real active, squaring Putin's 4 planets in Libra, specifically Sun at 14 and his Saturn exact at 17 degrees Libra. The Venus-Mars conjunction in Capricorn tomorrow, February 16th, will square his Saturn at the exact degree 17 Libra. Stay tuned. Is he going to try to be a power broker and mediator, negotiator? Or as Leroy says, will his Pluto conjunct the South Node in Leo need to save face and invade no matter what? I don't know if you remember this from the last podcast, but I had stated that Jupiter in Pisces, Aries, is quite active this year with the outer planets. Jupiter will make 6 different aspects one time each, February, March, and April, and then it will make 3 waning semi-squares to Uranus and 3 waxing semi-squares to Saturn. And so it just makes everything, Jupiter is, if one Lay's potato chip is good, let's eat the whole bag. And that can create, adding on to this whole picture of, misinterpreting this or misstating that, or, whatever frustrates you, we build a mountain out of a molehill, as we call it. It will behoove all of us to reach for Jupiter and Pisces. As I say, pray for peace or energize peace, or really find our, deep inner center and balance so that we are vibrating the energy of smoothness, I guess I would say. Jupiter is going to go into Aries, and it might be quite instigating of everything that is going on here. So as we move through the month of February, there are 3 Jupiter aspects. Jupiter made a waning semi-sextile to Chiron, February 11th. Jupiter 10 Pisces, Chiron 10 Aries. Healing any sense of victimization or wounding that we feel. Really reaching for the best we can do with diet, exercise, and rest, and healing ourselves. It contributes to this Chiron in Aries, anti-vax, anti-anything movement in regards to what we see going on with the virus mutations. Jupiter on February 17th, the day after the full moon, will make a waning sextile to Uranus. Jupiter 11 Pisces, Uranus 11 degrees Taurus. This can add to the I'm right, you're wrong picture. It can add to that energy of disrupting things on the planet, or, disrupting the whole sense of war. Jupiter and Pisces can have us just want to, again, check out, escape, not pay any attention to what's going on. And then February 23rd, Jupiter will make a waxing semi-square, new phase to crescent phase with Pluto. February 23rd, Jupiter will be hanging out at 13 Pisces. Pluto will be at 28 degrees Capricorn. This will be, strongly activating the USA chart, because transiting Pluto is sitting on the USA natal Pluto. That waxing semi-square is wanting to move forward in new directions and new energy with whatever we feel is going on in our world, personally and collectively. Again, Jupiter and Pisces can really tap into the my God's better than your God energy, personally and collectively. I'm right, you're wrong, partner. I'm right, you're wrong, country. And that tension of that waxing semi-square with Pluto and Capricorn will just intensify some of that control issue that is taking place. And, many of us are talking about Jupiter and Pisces making a conjunction to Neptune. It's not till April 12th at 24 Pisces. And so Jupiter in that balsamic energy to Neptune, Jupiter the old ruler of Pisces, Neptune the modern ruler of Pisces, it can buy into all these patriarchal distortions with religion that, have us doing battles in the name of our beliefs. And while that was the Dark Ages in medieval Europe, and it still goes on in various places of the country, what we also have more along the lines today, Pluto and Capricorn, are battles over the resources, Uranus and Taurus. All that fossil fuel energy that Russia produces in that second pipeline with Germany that's taking place, that's not being talked about as much, but that is as much in the picture as what we are doing. And so it becomes the Jupiter-Neptune becomes that cult personality like we see with the diehards of Donald Trump. There will be those factions with autocratic rulers like Putin. We have the personality or the cult of nationalities going on as well. My country's better than your country, and how we can substitute nationality and geography today for all of our deepest, broadest beliefs that are taking place. So, as Mercury is direct now and it moves back into Aquarius, okay, Media Monk, I have a cat on my lap. Could you come rescue me? The final thing that I want to speak to is the fact that Mercury, moving into Aquarius now, is finally going to make a conjunction to Saturn. That's not going to be till March 2nd, right before the new moon, right as Mars, Venus, conjunct Pluto, hanging out there. However, this Mercury-Saturn conjunction, we're going to see that at 19 degrees Aquarius. Again, it is going to be sitting on Putin's North Node in Aquarius. It's going to be sitting on the USSR's Saturn in Aquarius, the Saturn return. I think what can happen here, excuse me, gotta get my charts more, never mind. I'm not going to bother to look up the aspect right now. I got too many charts. I see as we finish up the next 2 weeks, and Mercury in Aquarius conjunct Saturn in Aquarius, right as we're moving into that new moon, that early March time period is also going to continue to be highly, highly accented. the whole geopolitical issues that are taking place are not going to go away very fast. And so, as we have been saying periodically, on an inner level, how are you making peace with your world? How is your inner world making peace with your outer world and resources? How are we learning to prioritize Uranus and Taurus? What is important in our material world and what is not? We're going to see these eclipses come along here over the next year and a half and really continue to emphasize, especially for us over-consumers in the United States, on what we need and what we do not need. And so this is really that path to being okay with whatever's taking place collectively. We have that personal choice. We have the personal will. And for most of us in the United States, we have that personal freedom to say, this is what's really important, and this is how I choose to walk my path. Surviving, flourishing, giving, sharing, and including with others.
Aho.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Mediuma. Thank you, everyone.
Yep, we'll see you again in a couple weeks on the next New Moon podcast. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. And as always, move with joy and passion on this never-ending journey to the core of our souls. Thank you, Star Lady.